Good morning and welcome to another Tuesday tour. It's John Sautter along with April Holhider behind the camera, bringing you another Tuesday tour. We're out on the west side of campus in front of the COREC, the France Córdova Recreational Sports Center on campus, to give you the history of the facility and talk about this awesome facility that's available. But let's talk about logistics just a little bit. We're actually on Intramural Drive, now known as Juski Drive. Right across the street is the new Wiley Dining Court, the fifth dining court that they built. All the protein you can eat right here. It's cherry Oscar barbecue, that sort of thing, available in this dining court, very popular. Next to Wiley Hall, or H3, as some of you might have known it. Wiley Hall, the Wiley Dining Court. You know, this all used to be green space. Some of you may recall when we had mud volleyball courts over here. In the distance, we had some tennis courts. In fact, if you go way back now, when this building opened in 1957, Bunker Hill, temporary housing for students, was available in this area over here. But now it's this beautiful facility, probably the most used facility on campus, one of the largest on campus. They tell me about 83% of the undergraduates will use the facility sometime in their undergraduate career. They tell me that if an undergraduate comes here 16 times or more a semester, they track grade point averages. That person's grade point averages is going to be about 2.5 higher than the average student on campus. So just a great facility with history and some offerings. I'm just going to give you a brief glimpse. It's so large. A brief glimpse that I'll tell you, and I'll tell you many times, you need to go to their website. It was just excellent with video tours and a lot more information. But we kind of want to give you an update on this wonderful facility, and to do that, we'll meet you in the inside. So we'll see you there shortly. Okay, we're back inside the facility, and April's focusing on the 57-foot climbing wall. 57 is a great number for this place. This building opened in 1957. And the history on that is that it was Red Mackey, who was the athletic director at the time. He thought the campus needed a standalone facility for students' recreational needs. Now, if I take you back to 1957, I was in junior high school. Athletics at that time was a very, very rudimentary kind of a thing. For women participation, I think it was called GAA, Girls Athletic Association, might have been bowling or something. So the foreshadowing for Red Mackey back then to have a facility like this was just quite something. In fact, it became the first in the country as a standalone facility dedicated to the recreational needs of all students. He saw the importance of its contribution in the educational process that he started it back then. In fact, then it was known as the Recreational Gymnasium. And so here's a picture. It's a little bit fuzzy, but it kind of shows you the wrought iron sign out in front and all of the bricks and the doors in front. And you walked in and there was kind of a metal gate you had to go through to get in. They wanted to kind of keep it for students and keep others out and all that sort of thing. But eventually it continued to evolve through a variety of expansions. And when it first opened, it had indoor swimming pools, it had a running track, it had a variety of courts and things, but it even had outdoor ice skating. We actually had an outdoor ice skating rink, and that was there until around 1983 or so, operated from November to March. You checked out the skates and you could skate to music that was played, that sort of thing. A very inviting place to be. And it's been added on to now just a variety of times. The two biggest expansions, one was probably in 2001, and that was when they added the aquatic center to it and connected it on the west side of the facility. Beautiful aquatic center with significant swimming and diving pools. That's where our David Bedaya and Steele Johnson practiced, and won gold medals and silver medals for us there. All a part of the facility as they have continued to expand and meet the needs of the students. That was 2001. Later it was named for Morgan Burke, our athletic director. The biggest renovation probably was, though, in 2012, and that's when they added all the space here to the tune of $98 million. And we'll start walking up to see some of that space now. A $98 million addition. It was financed by way of a student referendum. What they found was that the state was very reluctant to spend funds on a recreational facility. And so what they did was decided to have a referendum for students as we make our way up the steps now. And the students in a referendum in the early 2000s or so put it on the student body election ballot and said, would you mind having your fees increased over a period of 3 years to pay for this facility? And the students approved it. And so they started accumulating the funds, and so by way of a student referendum, the facility was added. And it's a beautiful facility. Now it's up to over 430,000 square feet. Again, one of the larger facilities in the area. You saw the climbing wall. If we look down here, you can see the bouldering wall that we have. We have 4 floors with just a wide variety of equipment available. They have over 500 or so cardiovascular and weight station areas in the facility. They now have 2 running tracks. They have a recreational pool. They have a nice conference room back in here. This is the Howard Taylor Conference Room. On down the hallway to the right are the administrative offices, and those are the George Hannaford administrative offices. George Hannaford was actually one of the first directors of the facility. After him, he was followed later on by Larry Prio. Larry Prio has a shell that the crew team named after him, and as a way to say thanks for all he did for that club sport, as it turns out. This is where you check in. This nice young man always greets you with a smile. I can tell you, I come in the mornings. I come about 6:30 in the mornings. It's one of the best health clubs in town available right here in this facility, and you can do that too. In fact, if you're going to visit campus and you want to come here, if you're an alumni, you can come in for $8 a day. Otherwise, it's $10 a day just to come in and use the facility. Expansive offerings. So down here we have the wellness suite. The wellness suite, fitness pavilion, that's some of the terminology they have these days. But the wellness suite is where you can actually get a massage as a student. Can you imagine that? You can also get personal trainers assigned to you to help you with your workout. And they have a demonstration kitchen for cooking. They have, I'm told, 2 or 3 cooking classes a week in this facility. In fact, outside groups sometimes come in and have cake baking contests and that sort of thing. Really working on life skills of students to develop all aspects of education and of the life that's going to be greeting you. And so I know one of the classes they had here had to do with using the crock pot, how you use the crock pot and that sort of thing. There's our friends, the Ofterhides. They come in here. Both retirees, love this place.
Yes, we do.
Yes, they do. Now we're in the atrium area. All this area is available to the general public. If you want to come in here, that's all possible. Only when you want to go by the smiling checker back there and get into the facilities, that's when you need your ID card. Here's the fuel station. I understand they have 300 smoothies a day they go through. And the peanut butter protein smoothie, I understand, is one of the most popular. But a variety of healthy foods available. Also, they have study areas here. They have hookups for your computer in this nice atrium area that are available. Just all the different things, in addition to what you might think when you think of volleyball, basketball, squash, racquetball. And actually, we'll read you, there are so many things, we'll read you a list here shortly about all those things. We're making our way over to the recreational pool, and now it's a lap pool as well as an exercise area, and so you can see basketball courts down there. There's a little volleyball net here. There's actually a spa off in the corner. It's a 24-person spa. You can actually sit in there. One of the newest club sports they have is a log rolling club. And so they actually have a couple of interesting looking logs they bring in, and you can actually do that in that particular area. What I want to read through are all the variety of things that are available. Again, I want to refer you to their website because they have a great website where they actually take and show you some of these facilities. But in the free play area within the COREC that students can use every day, 2 running tracks, the recreational swimming pool and the aquatic center I mentioned, climbing wall and bouldering wall, 10 basketball courts, volleyball courts, pickleball courts, 14 racquetball courts, squash courts, badminton and ping pong, and many, many others. Intramurals are really big, and they have over 1,400 intramural teams that compete all year round in a variety of facilities. So we have 2 outside intramural fields that they maintain. Actually, right behind us is T-Rec, which is the Turf Recreational Exercise Center. And so it's a building that has turf as a flooring, and they play a variety of sports there. They actually have a ropes course where you actually climb on ropes and that sort of thing. It's kind of a confidence building course. Then they have a skeet shooting range also off campus that's available. In intramurals, here are some of the teams that you can compete on. Tennis, disc golf, cornhole, racquetball, dodgeball, softball, basketball, flag football, floor hockey, inner tube, water polo, handball, bowling, tennis, golf, euchre, and a whole lot more. A euchre team, we need to get on that one, April. A lot more available in intramurals. Club sports, they have over 32 different clubs. I mentioned the log rolling, but they also have archery, badminton, baseball, crew, cricket, fencing, gymnastics, ice hockey, lacrosse, rugby, soccer, volleyball, log rolling, water polo, and just a whole lot more. And I can tell you, because of our perfect location here with 14,000 students around us in housing, we love this location because it tired the students out just a little bit. They weren't quite as rambunctious when they came back, but just a perfect location for walk-in use. Wellness and fitness. You can get massages, cooking classes, nutrition counseling, fitness consultants, personal trainers, as well as financial consulting, all available in classes that they have here. And other classes in the strength area include weightlifting, endurance, and a variety of machines and cardio. They have cycling and kickboxing. They have dance and fitness classes for the mind and body. They have body sculpting, mindful meditation, yogurt, Pilates, Tai Chi, and just a variety of others. And in water fitness, they have cardio in the pool. They teach swimming lessons. All those available within this facility. Just an excellent facility for all those needs. In fact, this facility has become kind of a recruiting tool. A lot of students these days, when they look out at campus, obviously they look at the academic program, and obviously they look at housing and food, as they should, but then also the recreational facility on campus becomes a high need, and they look at this one, and it really sells a lot of students. So we're going to pause and go upstairs and conclude up there. So we'll see you up there shortly. Okay, we're back on the mezzanine level now, basically the third floor in the co-rec. To kind of wrap things up, but a few things we want to make sure we talk about. One are the hours. They open generally around 5:30 in the morning and go till about 11 o'clock at night. And it didn't always used to be that way. The early bird hours, actually I can recall, there's kind of a famous picture I couldn't come up with of when they expanded the hours early in the morning to then it was 6:30. Didn't know if students would come or anybody comes, but now the place is busy all the time. But as April starts to pan over, and you can look down on the first floor, you see the words Purdue. There's 2 more gymnasiums in there that are used for special events that I'll talk about. In fact, I'll show you right now. If you go in there, there's several basketball courts, and that's where they have special events. One of the special events is the dance marathon. And so this is the picture last year. It was the 15th dance marathon where they raised over $1 million. They get thousands of students who are in there for 18 hours straight, raising money for Riley Hospital. That's all done in there. I think in 15 years they've raised over close to $8 million in that student activity. Another activity that takes place is a fashion show. In fact, this year's fashion show, put on by the seniors in fashion design, is April the 18th. And so it converts into a nice runway in that particular area. This is from a couple years ago. And then the last picture I have, and some of you might have been here for this, Purdue celebrated its 150th anniversary when they converted that into a huge banquet room with an aerialist serving you champagne while hanging from the ceiling. And this was the dining room area, just a gorgeous facility all in the area. So just a variety of things that can be done within the co-rec facility. But then those gymnasiums, there's another gymnasium there. We start coming around a little bit. We see the beautiful atrium area where we were below, and the running track. And the windows up there, that's the faculty and staff area. The faculty and staff actually have their own room with their own cardiovascular machines and some free weights and a variety of things up there. I spent some time there too, up in that particular area. But you really get a feel for all the different four levels. In fact, 430,000 square feet, that's a lot of space to maintain. And sure enough, it takes 40 staff members. It takes well over 800 students on the staff just to provide all those services we're talking about in terms of trainers and all those sorts of things. If we continue to make our way around, you see some video screens, lots of video screens, generally with sports shows on them. I always like to point out the clock. Lots of clocks. Obviously the students are concerned, as well as our staff, about the different, when they have to be and where they have to be. It's a lot of different clocks. This one has a second-hand digit on it, so you can actually time your laps. Here we see some of the cardiovascular equipment and some of the workout areas right here, and some folks doing some of their workouts. Just a great facility to have that many students take advantage of. Very popular. We would encourage you to be a part of that if you get a chance to. Whenever you come back and visit, they do love to give tours. So if you want to bring a club or a civic group or whatever in here to look around the place, they'd be happy to show you too. Again, I refer you to their website because it's just an excellent website that points out all the different things that are available within this excellent facility. One of the state-of-the-art in the country in terms of all the offerings, the newness of it, and that sort of thing. Very fortunate to have it as a part of the Boilermaker experience. So it goes all the way back to Red Mackey in '57, kind of looking ahead and making this all available, and all the folks who have followed to make it the great facility it is. So we hope you've enjoyed this Tuesday tour on behalf of April. Come back to campus and visit real soon. Hail Purdue.